let's look at one more thing in our owners table, and that would be resizing columns. So if you notice, some of the field names and some of the information in the fields runs and you can't see it in the columns. So to resize a column, you double click on the boundary between the two columns, sort of like we did in Excel. So you get a two-headed arrow and double click. I'll go ahead and close this table. It will prompt me to save because I've changed the layout of the table itself. Next, let's look at how to create a table in Design View. We've already done it in Datasheet View. Let's look at how to do it in Design View. And honestly, I like this way better because it's easier to see everything and there's less room for confusion. So to create a table, we'll go to our Create tab and we find Table. I'll go ahead and click that and it will look just like our last table when we began working with it. To switch into Design View, though, I come to my View button and I choose Design View. When I do that, it is going to prompt me to name my table. So this is going to be about the patients at the veterinary clinic. So I'm going to call the table Patients. Now it's switched into Design View. In Design View, you enter the field names going down. You enter in the data type as you do that. And then down at the bottom in the Field Properties area, you can make other adjustments. So we want the ID to actually be called Patient ID. So I'll add the word Patient in front of ID. And then if I click on the auto number, it gives me a drop-down box. And I want this to be short text too. I still have the key right here. If I didn't, I could toggle this on and off, but I want each patient, each animal to have its own ID. And then I'll go ahead and type in the next field, patient name. I want that to be short text. Animal type, short text. Breed, short text. And owner ID. And that is also short text. Now that I've created the fields for my table, it's time to enter information in them. So I need to switch back from Design View to Datasheet View. So Table Tools, Design tab, click on View, and choose back to Datasheet View. It will prompt me to save. That's okay. I'll go ahead and save. And then if you follow along on page AC125 or the Populating the Patients table area in your book, you'll see the patient's information to enter. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Now let's look at importing external data into our database. You would use this if you had another database that you wanted to combine with the one you were making, or if you had a spreadsheet or something like that that you wanted to bring into your database. To do this, we'll choose the External Data tab, and notice there's two areas in here, the Import area and the Export area. We'll be working in the Import area because we are bringing things into our database. We will be bringing in a new data source, so we'll choose that from Database, and it will be an Access database. So I'll choose that, and then I need to browse and find that database on my computer. Here it is. I'll click Open, and I will choose to import tables, queries, forms. I want this top choice, so I'll make sure that's selected, and then click OK, and it will walk me through. I want to make sure I import all the objects, so I select them all, and then choose OK. It will prompt me to save the import steps. You would want to do this if you were going to frequently be importing information into your database the same way. We'll not be doing that, so we'll leave that unchecked and click Close. Now that information has been imported into our database. Let's talk a little bit about queries. We'll start by using a query wizard to make our query. To begin, I'll need to click Create because I'm creating a new query. And then in the query area, I will start by clicking the Query Wizard. I want a simple query wizard, so I'll make sure that's selected. I'll click OK. And now it's going to prompt me which table I'm pulling the information from, which is the owner's table, and it will show me all the fields in that table so I can select the ones I need for my query. I'll select the owner first name, and then if I hit the single chevron right here, this will bring it over into the selected fields area. I want to go ahead and add fields, but make sure that I keep them in order. So owner first name, owner last name, owner street, owner city, owner state, and owner postal code. Then I'll click Next, and here is where I put the title for my query. This is going to be called the owner's query. And I can open the query to view information. So I'll hit Finish. It will run the query, and it will show me the information that I asked for right here in this area. I'll go ahead and close that. We will be doing a lot with queries. That's just kind of a beginning query. But before we do any more, let's look at how to create a form. A form in a database is a formatted document with fields that contain data. The form allows you to view and maintain the data. It's a nice, neat, easy way to enter information into a database. Let's make it for the owner's table. So I'll make sure that its owner's table is selected over here. And then we are creating a new form. So I'll choose Create tab. Then I'll choose the Form button. Once I've done that, it will open up this form for my database. And down here at the bottom, I can move between my records. And you can see I can see the information in my database. Forms are very easy to make. That's all you have to do. So now I'll close out of my form. It will ask me to save it. I'll say yes, and I'll go ahead and name it here. We want to name this the owner's form. Next, let's look at creating a report. We are going to use our report wizard to do this. Now remember, a report is similar to a query. It's just in a format that's easily distributed, like printed or something like that. So it just looks a little nicer. We'll select the owner's table. We don't open it, we just select it, and then click Create tab and come into the report area. We want our report wizard. And then similar to our query, we click on the field that we want to add and then click on the arrow to add it. We want owner first name, owner last name, street, city, and state. Then we'll click the Next button. It will ask if we want to add any grouping levels. We want to group by owner state. So we'll click on owner state and click the chevron, and it will group everything by the state. We'll click Next. It will ask us if we want any certain order. We do not want to sort in any order, so we'll click Next. And then it'll ask us how we want the layout to be. We want to leave it steeped, and we want it portrait. We'll click Next again. It will prompt us to save the report and give it a title. We want it to be called Owner's Report. And we do want to preview the report. So we'll click Finish. And it will show us a nice, neat list of our owners grouped by state. I'll go ahead and close this report. And then I do want to draw your attention to all of the different things in our database now. Notice how they're grouped by type. So all the tables are here: queries, forms, reports. That's very helpful to find things later. As you create a database, the more information you put into it, the bigger it gets. Most of the time that's not a big deal in this class, but it is helpful to know how to compact and repair a database. So if you click on your File button, there is the option to compact and repair database. And if you click on that, then it removes any empty space and creates a more compact, smaller file size database. And that's it for this chapter. We'll look forward to seeing you in class.